And today we are turning this angel into a demon. These two pickups are more than 30 years old. Isn't that crazy? This one is a Seymour Duncan SSL-4 Quarterpound. It's very interesting because it has a very large pole pieces and it's a high output, even for a single coil. And the other one is a Seymour Duncan 59 bridge, and funnily enough, it's a traditional wiring. It doesn't have four cables. It has only one cable, and the outside braid is in fact the ground. I purchased these two pickups 30 years ago in order to upgrade my very first electric guitar, and it stayed there until a few months ago. I realized it was a shame not to put them to better use, and I waited until I found a good project in which I could use them. On this picture from the Seymour Duncan site, you can see the very large pole pieces of the Quarterpound, and it's a very high output pickup designed to replicate the tone of Ritchie Blackmore from Deep Purple, Rainbow, and so on. And it's a very high output. You can see 13.4K. This is pretty huge. The 59 pickup, on the other hand, is a classic vintage PAF humbucker designed to replicate Les Paul 59 classic sound. And you can see on the spec it has a very low output for humbucker, 8.20K. Generally a single coil has 6-7K and the humbucker is around 13-15, so this is very low. And a few weeks ago I was checking out a Charvel catalog as usual, and I stumbled on this guitar. So this is the signature model of Warren DeMartini, a guitarist of Rat, and it's called the Frenchie, and you can trust me, the French translation is crappy, but I think he's aware of that. Anyway, and you can see on this guitar it has a HS configuration, humbucker single, and it has exactly this single coil in the neck, the Quarterpound, and the humbucker in the bridge, even though his humbucker is probably hotter than the 59 I have. And since I wanted to use these two pickups, I thought, yeah, here is a great project to finally find a good use for these two pickups. So what are the advantages of this pickup configuration? First of all, you don't have any pickup in the middle, so you don't have anything in the way of your picking, and that's often an issue for many guitarists. The second thing is I'm using a lot the neck pickup or the neck and middle intermediate position, and the bridge, the neck for the clean or some leads, and the neck and the bridge for a rhythm or lead guitar distorted. I never use the middle pickup on its own. I never use the intermediate middle and bridge position. So maybe that's all I need, neck and bridge pickup. Moreover, this specific combination between high output single coil in the neck and the low output humbucker in the bridge is interesting, because usually when you change from a humbucker to a single coil, you have a big drop of volume, a big difference of volume between the two. In this case, I think there will be more or less the same volume, so it should be a more balanced configuration than the usual single humbucker. So I didn't want to buy a new guitar just to test this configuration, and I didn't want also to change this pickguard, because It's pretty nice. These are quality vintage pickups, SSL-1, SSL-1 reverse polarity, and this is a pearly gate, and the whole electronics is obsidian wire, so it's a very high quality, a nice switch, and I want to keep it as it is in case I want to have this vintage configuration. So what I did, I just purchased a new pickguard, and I couldn't find a HS pickguard, so I bought a single humbucker pickguard. This is matte black, but there's still plastic on top of it. And I checked the dimensions to carve a single coil there and a toggle switch here. Since I have only 2 pickups, I just need a toggle switch. And I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Okay, so now let's put our plan to execution. But for that work, I would need an assistant, someone to help me. Gabi! Whoa! So here is my assistant, who also happens to be my son. And what are we going to do? We are going to carve the pickup so we can put a single coil. Then we are going to show the wiring we are going to use, the diagram. And third step, we are going to put the pickups and then solder everything. And then we can play.
Let's do it!
Yoo-hoo! So, to begin, we're going to use the drill to make holes and remove as much as we can. So now we're going to use the Dremel tool to carve a bit finer the cavity. So now we're left with a central cavity and we are going to adjust it with a little sanding block. And so now we are at a point where we are close to the border and I don't want to do anything more with a tool. Here it's a bit microwave. So now we're going to use just sandpaper and adjust the side. So now I think we're pretty good. The pickup will enter just this. The potentiometer, I think, will fit perfectly here. Right? Even if the circle is not like perfect, but the potentiometer will hide anyway, so it's gonna be great. So here are the different components that we will need. The 2 pickups. The pickguard that is now prepared for the elements. I bought a black input jack plate. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it or leave the chrome one. We'll see later. 1 volume potentiometer. I'm using a 500K because we have a humbucker and a pretty high output single coil. And a toggle switch. So let's assemble. Great, so it looks pretty cool. It looks like a good old Charvel SoCal Pickguard, but we made it custom, so it's even better. Toggle switch looks cool. Black knob looks cool. 59. So now we just have to wire all of this, and it's going to be time to play. So now we are going to solder everything in place. Pickups, potentiometer, toggle switch, and then we will solder the whole pickguard to the guitar. So let's start with the potentiometer and create a nice ground spot here, and also solder that together. That's the ground. Okay, I think we're good. So basically we have, this is the neck pickup hot, this is the neck pickup ground. So this braid, the whole braid is the bridge pickup ground, and the cable going out of it is the bridge pickup hot. And then we have one white wire going from the potentiometer to the selector, and one ground wire going from the ground of the selector to the back of the potentiometer. So now all we have left to do is connect this pickguard to the guitar. And so here we go. So this is the cable to the input jack. This is the main ground, and this is, I think this is the one behind the bridge, right? And this is the other ground from the pickup. So you can see here we have the two Seymour Duncan SSL-4 single coil. This is Pearly Gates humbucker, and all of this is obsidian wire plate, which is really nice. It's a great system, but so that's why I want to keep this whole pickguard as it is intact, because maybe I want in the future to reuse these parts to, I don't know, to put back the vintage sound pickguard. So okay, let's just remove it quickly. And okay, here we go. Nice pickguard, so it's really easy. You want to swap pickguard, you remove it, you put this one. You want this one back. So basically it's going to look like this, and I think it's pretty awesome. So the question now is, do I put a black plate here, like so, or do I leave it like this? I think it can look great. Yeah, let's do that. So now we are going to finally solder the new input jack. And the white input jack is going there. And that's it. Now we just have to put this back, put nice screws, and check how it sounds. So as a conclusion, let's talk first about the pickups. I'm pretty happy with the upgrade. The neck pickup, the Quarterpound, has this kind of open, almost hollow sound of a traditional single coil, but with much more punch. It has a very nice, clean sound. You can play leads with it, you can play rhythm with it. It's a bit a sound of the 70s hard rock, Ritchie Blackmore, Deep Purple, Dio, this kind of stuff. Interestingly enough, it cleans up very well. So if I take the volume down, I can play almost clean. But if I crank the volume up just on the guitar, I can directly pass to very high amount of saturation. It takes insane amount of gain very well. About the neck pickup, so the 59, I like it because it's not too harsh, it's not too bright, unlike the pearly gates I had on the HSS Pickguard. But it's very precise, it's very musical, whether on leads, on rhythm, so it's a very good overall pickup. And what's nice is the middle position combines the best of both worlds, meaning I get this kind of open sound of holiness of the neck pickup with the precision of the bridge pickup. But more importantly, what I wanted really to stress out with this video is how easy it's to swap not only one pickup, but the whole pickguard to give your guitar a completely new tone, new atmosphere. So this is kind of my hard rock / metal pickguard for this guitar. But I can very easily go back to a more traditional HSS configuration with this pickguard. And if I want to go back to the original Strat single configuration that was initially on this guitar, I can just reinstall this pickguard. So I hope you like this little adventure, building this pickguard completely from scratch, taking these pickups from a previous guitar and installing them here, recycling them if you want. And you can see that building this pickguard in fact didn't require a lot of money. I already had these pickups, and then the pickguard and the few parts are pretty cheap. And if you want to see more content like this, building guitars, upgrading guitars, please like this video and subscribe to the channel.